Most people assume that if you don't obsess over sports, something is missing in you, that you're cold, disconnected, or somehow less human. Let me say this clearly right away. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain just doesn't light up for the same things, and that difference says more about how you process meaning than about what you care about. Stay with me because this goes deeper than not liking games. At some point, you've probably felt it. The awkward pause when everyone around you is debating last night's match and you're just empty. No anger, no excitement, no urge to pick a side. People look at you like you've admitted a crime. You don't watch sports, they ask, as if you just said you don't breathe oxygen. The judgment is subtle but sharp. You're labeled boring, antisocial, or worse, no fun. But that judgment is lazy. It assumes passion only counts if it's loud, tribal, and televised. Society treats sports obsession as proof of belonging. It's an easy signal. Wear the jersey, know the stats, hate the rival team, and congratulations, you're part of something. If you don't play along, people assume you rejected connection itself. But what if you didn't reject connection? What if you just don't outsource your emotions to a scoreboard? Psychologically, sports obsession works because it hijacks some very old systems in the brain. Dopamine, for one, the same chemical that spikes when we gamble, scroll endlessly, or chase validation, also spikes when a team wins. Uncertainty plus emotional investment equals reward. For many people, sports provide a safe, socially approved roller coaster of highs and lows. You get drama without personal risk, identity without vulnerability, belonging without self-disclosure. But not everyone's dopamine system is wired to find that rewarding. Some brains simply don't get the same chemical payoff from watching others compete. It's like being offered sugar when you don't crave sweets. You understand why others enjoy it, but your body doesn't respond. And when the reward isn't there, obsession doesn't follow. It's not resistance, it's indifference born from different wiring. There's also identity at play. Sports fandom often becomes a shortcut identity. We won, we lost. Notice that word, we. Psychologists call this self-extension. People fold external symbols into their sense of self. For some, that feels grounding. For others, it feels artificial. If you're someone whose identity is more internally anchored, based on values, curiosity, or personal meaning, then borrowing identity from a team can feel hollow, like wearing someone else's clothes. They fit technically, but they're not yours. Neuroscience adds another layer. Studies on attention and reward suggest that some people are more sensitive to narrative meaning than competitive outcomes. Your brain might care more about why something matters than who wins, more about patterns than points, more about inner worlds than external rankings. Sports, especially modern professional sports, are often reduced to numbers, dominance, and repetition. If your nervous system is tuned toward nuance, that can feel flat. Stress response matters too. For many fans, sports act as a pressure valve. They scream, celebrate, curse, and release tension. For others, that same environment spikes stress instead of relieving it. Loud crowds, emotional volatility, constant comparison. Your nervous system may read that as noise, not relief. So, you opt out, not because you're detached, but because you're regulated. If we zoom out historically, people like you have always existed. In early human groups, not everyone rallied around the same competitive displays. Some watched the hunt, others tracked the weather, some told stories, some noticed patterns others missed. Obsession with competition helped groups train for conflict, yes, but groups also survived because some individuals stayed emotionally neutral. They conserved energy. They thought long-term. They didn't get swept up in collective adrenaline. But modern society glorifies spectacle. Sports are no longer just games, they're emotional industries, billion-dollar narratives designed to keep attention locked in. If you don't feel pulled into that, it doesn't mean you lack passion. It means your attention is selective, and selective attention is not a flaw, it's a filter. Emotionally, this difference can be isolating. You might feel like you're always slightly out of sync with group excitement, like everyone got a memo you didn't read. And over time, you might even question yourself. Why don't I care? But here's the quiet truth. You probably care deeply about other things. You just don't perform it publicly. Your interests may be inward, abstract, or slow-burning. They don't come with chance or trophies, so they're easier for others to overlook. There's also an honesty in not obsessing. You don't fake enthusiasm to fit in. You don't pretend a game outcome changes your life if it doesn't. That takes a subtle kind of integrity. It's easier to blend in than to quietly stand apart. And yet, you do. Not loudly, not rebelliously, just authentically. Of course, there are trade-offs. Sports can be social glue. They give people an easy way to bond. If you're indifferent, you might miss those entry points. You might have fewer default conversations. And yes, sometimes it's simpler to cheer than to explain yourself. But every way of being has a cost. Obsession costs time, emotional energy, and sometimes perspective. Non-obsession costs instant belonging. Neither is superior. They're just different exchanges. Here's the mirror moment I want to leave you with. Ask yourself this quietly. Do you avoid sports because you're disconnected from life, or because you're connected to it in a way that doesn't need constant spectacle? Are you indifferent, or are you simply uninterested in borrowed emotions? You don't need to force passion where none exists. You don't need to apologize for not caring about what excites the majority. Meaning is not a popularity contest. Some people experience life through intensity and competition. Others experience it through depth, observation, and inner coherence. Both are valid ways of being human. So no, you're not broken. You're not boring. You're not missing out on some essential human ritual. You're just engaging with the world on a different frequency, one that doesn't require a scoreboard to feel alive. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, you're probably not alone. Feel free to say so in your own way. And if you want to explore more of the psychology behind quiet differences like this, you know where to find the next conversation.